Arrogance is not strength, it is exposure. Most people misunderstand this. They see arrogance as confidence, as dominance, as someone who cannot be touched. That illusion keeps them frozen, reactive, small. Machiavelli saw something else entirely. He saw a structural weakness masquerading as power. He saw noise where silence wins. He saw a peacock daring the hunter to aim. You are not here to confront arrogance. Confrontation feeds it. You are not here to correct it. Correction legitimizes it. You are here to outgrow it so completely that it collapses under its own weight. And you will do this without a word, because words are currency for the insecure, and arrogance is the loudest insecurity in the room. Understand this first, or nothing else will work. Arrogant people require witnesses. They need eyes. They need reaction. Their identity is not internal. It is rented from the attention of others. Take that away, and the structure cracks. Not emotionally, biologically. The human nervous system cannot sustain dominance displays without feedback. Every hierarchy in nature confirms this. When the alpha no longer needs to signal, the challenger self-destructs trying to be seen. You have been conditioned to believe silence is weakness, that if you do not respond, you lose status. This is a lie told to keep you reactive. Silence, when properly positioned, is not absence, it is pressure. It forces the other person to fill the void, to reveal themselves, to overextend. The arrogant always do. Watch how arrogance behaves when it is not fed. It escalates. Louder claims, sharper gestures, subtle insults masked as confidence. This is not power increasing, this is control slipping. The predator does not roar more when it is winning, only when it is uncertain. Here is the psychological mechanism at work. Arrogance is a compensation strategy. It exists to stabilize a fragile self-image by projecting certainty outward. When you refuse to engage, you remove the mirror. The mind panics. It scrambles to restore equilibrium, and in that scramble, it exposes patterns you can later exploit without effort. Most people make the fatal mistake of trying to dominate arrogant people directly. They challenge them, they argue, they try to put them in their place. All this does is grant relevance. You have stepped onto their stage. You have accepted their frame. You have already lost. Machiavelli's insight was colder. Power is not about winning exchanges, it is about controlling context. The highest form of dominance is not victory, it is irrelevance. When your presence forces another to perform while you remain still, you invert the hierarchy without lifting a finger. This is not passivity, it is positioning. Silence, strategically deployed, triggers what psychologists call negative attribution loops. The arrogant person begins to assume judgment where none is expressed. They project hostility, contempt, superiority onto you because their mind cannot tolerate ambiguity. Humans fear the unreadable. The unreactive mind becomes a threat because it cannot be predicted or controlled. You are not ignoring them, you are watching them unravel. And here is where the inversion begins. Others notice, not consciously at first, but status is not awarded through logic, it is sensed. When one person strains to assert importance while another remains unmoved, the group recalibrates. Attention drifts, gravity shifts. The arrogant feel it immediately. They feel themselves slipping. This is why they escalate. They will bait you, they will provoke, they will exaggerate, they will test boundaries, searching desperately for friction. Your restraint becomes a mirror they cannot escape.
Every move they make looks louder. Every word sounds thinner. Do not interrupt this process, because arrogance cannot survive silence for long. It must either retreat or expose itself fully, and arrogant people almost never retreat. Their identity will not allow it. This is only the beginning. What comes next is where silence becomes something sharper, something surgical, something that leaves no fingerprints.
Silence alone weakens arrogance, but silence combined with timing destroys it. This is where most people fail. They learn restraint, but not precision. They become quiet, but not deliberate. And the arrogant senses this immediately. They confuse your restraint for hesitation. They assume you are retreating. That assumption is fatal for them and useful for you. Arrogance is addicted to momentum. It survives by staying ahead of judgment, ahead of reflection, ahead of consequence. When you slow the environment without announcing it, you force the arrogant into a temporal trap. They speak too soon. They move too fast. They reveal intent before conditions are ready. Machiavelli understood that power is not seized in moments of noise. It is consolidated in moments of delay. When you do not respond immediately, you create asymmetry. You control pace. The one who controls pace controls perception, and perception, not reality, is the battlefield of social dominance. The arrogant person lives in anticipation of reaction. They expect affirmation, resistance, admiration, envy, anything but nothing. When nothing arrives, their mind begins to fill the gap with interpretations, and those interpretations are always self-centered. They assume you are judging them, measuring them, dismissing them. The ego cannot imagine neutrality. It can only imagine threat. This is not theory. This is evolutionary wiring. In tribal hierarchies, attention was survival. Being ignored meant being expendable. The nervous system still carries this code. When someone withholds reaction, the primitive brain interprets it as a drop in rank. The arrogant person feels this as irritation first, then anxiety, then compulsion. This compulsion is what you wait for. They will start to over-explain, over-justify, over-perform. They will repeat themselves louder, thinking volume restores authority. They will seek allies in the room, scanning faces, attempting to triangulate attention back towards themselves. Each of these behaviors lowers their status further. Desperation is always visible, even when disguised as confidence. Meanwhile, you do nothing. But understand this clearly. Doing nothing does not mean thinking nothing. You are observing patterns. You are learning triggers. You are mapping insecurities. Arrogance always leaks information. It cannot help itself. Every boast points to a fear. Every dismissal reveals a comparison they are losing internally. You are not passive. You are predatory. At a certain point, the arrogant person will attempt a dominance reset. This is critical. They may interrupt you when you speak to someone else. They may dismiss your contribution with casual contempt. They may attempt humor at your expense. This is the moment where most people finally react and lose everything. You will not. You will respond later, not immediately, not emotionally. You will let the moment pass as if it was beneath notice. This is not politeness. This is hierarchy assertion. You are signaling that their attempt did not qualify for engagement. The delayed response is devastating because it fractures cause and effect. Humans rely on immediate feedback to understand social outcomes.
When response is delayed, the mind loops. It replays the event. It amplifies uncertainty. The arrogant person will revisit their own behavior obsessively, searching for what went wrong. They will not find clarity. You have denied it to them. And when you finally do speak, briefly, calmly, without edge, it lands heavier than confrontation ever could, not because of what you say, but because of when you say it. Timing redefines meaning. A neutral sentence delivered late feels like judgment. A calm tone delivered after tension feels like authority. This is how you begin to condition behavior without commands. The arrogant person learns subconsciously that their displays do not move you, that escalation does not work, that attention is no longer guaranteed. This creates a power vacuum, and vacuums terrify those who depend on dominance performance to exist. What happens next is predictable and dangerous for them, because once arrogance realizes it is no longer the center, it either collapses inward or lashes out blindly. And both outcomes serve you.
At this stage, the dynamic has shifted, even if no one has named it. You are no longer reacting to arrogance. You are shaping its environment. This is where Machiavelli's method becomes truly invisible. Arrogant people believe power lives in expression, in statements, in posture, in visibility. They do not understand that real dominance is environmental. It does not announce itself. It arranges conditions so that others move in predictable ways without knowing why. You will now do something that feels counterintuitive to the uninitiated. You will allow the arrogant person to speak, often, publicly, freely. You will not challenge them. You will not correct them. You will give them space to perform. This is not generosity. This is exposure. Arrogance, when given a long leash, hangs itself. The more someone talks without resistance, the more extreme they become. They begin to overstate competence. They claim credit prematurely. They express certainty where caution is expected. In hierarchical groups, this triggers an ancient response in observers: suspicion. Confidence is respected when it is restrained. When it is excessive, it signals poor judgment. Leaders know this instinctively. So do predators. You are letting the arrogant disqualify themselves in the eyes of those who matter, while you remain untouched. Here is the psychological pivot. Humans evaluate status comparatively, not absolutely. When one person is loud and another is measured, the measured one becomes the reference point for credibility. Your restraint reframes their arrogance as noise. You do not need to discredit them. Their own mouth will do it for you. There is a deeper mechanism at work here. Social groups unconsciously protect stability. Anyone who disrupts balance with excessive dominance displays becomes a liability. The arrogant do not realize this. They believe visibility equals safety. In reality, it paints a target. By remaining calm, sparse in speech, and selective in engagement, you position yourself as stable, predictable, controlled. These traits are not admired emotionally, but they are trusted, and trust is the real currency of power. Now the inversion accelerates. People begin to check your reactions instead of theirs. They look to you after the arrogant speaks, searching for cues. Even your silence becomes informative. This is when the arrogant person starts to feel something they cannot name: displacement. They sense the center shifting. They feel themselves becoming peripheral. This is intolerable to them. Arrogance cannot survive without centrality, so they escalate again. They may challenge you indirectly. They may frame comments as intellectual disagreements. They may attempt to provoke you into public contradiction. This is the trap. If you engage directly, you restore their relevance.
If you dismiss them harshly, you appear reactive. Either response feeds their narrative. You will do neither. Instead, you will respond with precision, a single observation, calm, narrow, undeniable, not framed as a rebuttal, but as a clarification. You speak as if correcting the environment, not the person. This subtly removes them from the equation. The group perceives this instantly. You are not arguing, you are orienting reality. That is what leaders do. The arrogant person, in contrast, is now framed as someone who talks around the truth rather than toward it. This is not humiliation. Humiliation creates enemies. This is erosion, slow, clean, socially sanctioned. Internally, the arrogant person begins to fracture. Their usual tools no longer work. Volume fails, certainty backfires, attention leaks away. They begin to doubt themselves but cannot admit it, so they compensate harder. And the harder they try, the smaller they look. This is the paradox Machiavelli exploited repeatedly. Give your opponent space and they reveal the limits of their power. Press them too early and you strengthen them. Let them move and you learn how to contain them. The final phase is approaching. This is where silence turns into dominance, so complete that it feels cruel. But cruelty is not the goal. Control is.
Now, the arrogant person is no longer performing from confidence. They are performing from fear. This distinction matters. Confidence is quiet because it is internally validated. Fear is loud because it needs witnesses. What you are seeing now is not strength unraveling. It is self-image collapsing under the weight of exposure, and collapse always creates volatility. This is the most dangerous phase, and the one where discipline separates strategists from amateurs. The arrogant will attempt one final maneuver. They will try to force a binary, ally or enemy, submission or conflict. They want clarity, because clarity restores their sense of control. Ambiguity is torture to an ego that survives on dominance displays. You will deny them this. You remain courteous, calm, slightly distant, not cold, not warm, unavailable for classification. Humans instinctively seek to categorize threats. When categorization fails, stress increases. The arrogant person cannot decide whether you are beneath them, against them, or above them. This uncertainty destabilizes their internal hierarchy. Here is why this works at a neurological level. The brain prioritizes resolving uncertainty over pursuing reward. When an arrogant person cannot read you, they allocate cognitive resources to monitoring you. This weakens their performance elsewhere. They make mistakes, they miss cues, they become reactive in other interactions. Others notice. You, meanwhile, remain consistent. Consistency is terrifying to unstable dominance. It suggests an internal compass that does not rely on external validation. In every hierarchy, corporate, social, political, tribal, the individual who does not need approval quietly outranks the one who demands it. This is when power fully inverts. Without you ever declaring it, the arrogant person begins to adjust their behavior around you. They soften their tone, they seek agreement, they test compliance subtly. This is submission masked as confidence, and the moment they do this, the battle is already over. But Machiavelli warned of something crucial here. If you enjoy this moment, you lose. Revenge reveals dependency. Satisfaction exposes emotional investment. The strategist does not savor dominance, he normalizes it. You treat their adjustment as expected, not earned. You do not reward it with warmth, you do not punish it with contempt, you simply accept it as the new baseline. This teaches a lesson deeper than humiliation ever could. It teaches inevitability.
The arrogant learns that dominance over you is not achievable, not because you fought, but because the structure does not allow it. This reframes their self-concept. They either adapt or they remove themselves. Both outcomes benefit you. If they adapt, they become manageable, quieter, more precise, less disruptive. If they leave, they do so under the impression that the environment no longer favors them, and they are correct. You did not destroy them. You made arrogance unviable. This is the essence of Machiavellian power, not crushing enemies, but rendering their strategies obsolete, not silencing voices, but making them irrelevant, not asserting superiority, but arranging reality so that superiority is assumed. And now you understand why this method requires silence. Words are too crude for this level of control. Silence is scalable. Silence is deniable. Silence leaves no evidence, no grievances, no vendettas, only outcomes. One final step remains, the step that separates those who can destabilize arrogance from those who command lasting authority. This final step has nothing to do with them. It has everything to do with you.
If you misuse what you have learned, it will turn on you. This must be understood without softness. Silence is not a costume you wear to intimidate others. It is a consequence of internal order. If your silence is fueled by resentment, it leaks. If it is fueled by fear, it invites attack. Only silence rooted in self-possession carries weight. Machiavelli did not teach tactics to make weak men feel powerful. He revealed mechanisms for those willing to discipline themselves beyond impulse. The final method is internal, and it is ruthless. You must kill the part of you that wants recognition from arrogant people, the part that wants to be seen as smarter, stronger, more correct. As long as that hunger exists, they can still touch you. They can still provoke you. They can still pull you into their theater. Arrogance only dominates those who need its approval or fear its judgment. When you no longer seek either, something profound happens. Your nervous system changes. Your posture changes. Your timing changes. You stop reacting because there is nothing to defend. You stop performing because there is nothing to prove. At that point, silence is no longer a tactic, it is your default state. This is when arrogant people sense danger immediately, not because you threaten them, but because you no longer acknowledge the hierarchy they are trying to enforce. You move as if it is irrelevant, because to you it is. Humans are exquisitely sensitive to this. They can feel when someone is operating from internal authority rather than borrowed status. It triggers ancient instincts, deference, caution, restraint. This is why true power rarely announces itself. The arrogant mistake this for emptiness. They think you lack ambition. They think you are disengaged. They think you are passive. And they act accordingly. Until one day decisions are made without consulting them, until influence flows around them instead of through them, until their presence becomes optional. They do not understand what happened. There was no confrontation, no humiliation, no visible defeat, only absence. Absence of reaction, absence of validation, absence of relevance. And that absence is unbearable to someone whose identity depends on dominance displays. This is the cleanest destruction possible. No enemies created, no alliances broken, no reputations stained, only a quiet reordering of reality in which arrogance no longer fits. But understand this final warning. Once you operate at this level, you cannot go back. You will see arrogance everywhere, in leaders, in colleagues, in friends, even in yourself. And you will have a choice each time.
You can descend and engage, or you can remain elevated and let structure do the work. Most people cannot tolerate this discipline. They crave expression, they crave release, they crave being seen. Those people will always be ruled by louder men. The few who master silence rule environments without appearing to try. They are consulted, not challenged, deferred to, not confronted. They are never rushed, never forced, never pulled into games they did not choose. This is the inner circle Machiavelli wrote for, not followers, not moralists, not the loud. Observers, architects, strategists. If you have followed this without flinching, you already feel the shift. Less urgency, less noise, more control. This channel is not for everyone. It is for those who understand that power is not claimed, it is assumed. If you choose to remain among those who see clearly and move deliberately, you already know what to do next.